Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited today because we are going to do our second round of Creative Memory Tools Roulette. So I had just checked to see how long ago was it that we did this series, and it was just about 2 months ago. So depending on when this airs, the last one aired March 4th. I'm not sure when I'll get this one up, but it'll be somewhere very close or around May 4th. So very exciting that it was 2 months, and I have added, I think I've added over 10 tools since we talked last. So remember, this can be done with any kind of tools, any kind of item in your scrap room that you want to focus in on. I just happen to be focusing in on my Creative Memories tools. I'm kind of new at becoming an independent Creative Memories advisor. So adding these tools, I want to make sure I'm still using them as I'm adding them, because I've added them fairly quickly, as you will see. So here on my desk, I do have some of the new tools that I've added, because most of these are still available. Okay. I think when we ended last time, we were at or around 32, I believe, and now I'm up to 46. So to refresh your memory on how this works is I'm going to use a random number generator, and I'm going to pick three tools within my whole 46 tools to use for my layout. So I'll pick the tools, and then I will create a layout based on the tools that I selected. Okay, so I've already put in that it goes from 1 to 46. So let's generate the first number. Number 1. Second one, 34. So we have number 1, number 34, and number 15. Okay, 1. Let me write it down here. 1, 34, and 15. Okay, so let's see what that is. Number 1 is the border making cartridge, the Honeycomb. Okay. Number 15 is our basic square. So in that case, those are the old Creative Memories square punches, and so in that case, I'm allowed to use any of the sizes in that series. Okay, and then number 34 is my trimmer blade with the wave. So I did go ahead and add in my trimmer blades, the ones that I have so far, onto my tools because I love those and I don't want to forget to use those either. Let me clean all this up, figure out what I'm going to do, and I'll be right back. Okay, so we're back, and let's see what we have here. We chose the wave cutter for the 12-inch trimmer. We chose the Honeycomb border making cartridge, and then we chose the basic square. So let's put this aside, put that ready, and let's make this page. So I have these photos from it's called the Huntington Library. So if you live in Southern California, you might have heard about this. It's in Pasadena, and it's a botanical garden museum. It's very beautiful there. So I have a lot of outdoor pictures that I want to scrap and get into my album. And there are a couple pictures here that of some coworkers that I went with that I can't show. So I will keep those upside down. And so the collection that I pulled out to use with this is the Spring Cottage collection. This is the spring collection from last year, 2021. So it was recently on Last Chance, and it's still, part of it still is on Last Chance. The tone-on-tone papers are still there, and it's beautiful. Okay, so I went through and I picked out some papers that I thought would go perfect with my photos from the Huntington. I have the tree bark, I have the green solid leaves, the lily pads, this is the back side of the dark green, is white with green leaves, and maybe I'm possibly going to pull in some blue and this sage green. Okay, and then I decided I'll probably use brown cardstock for the background or the base of my layout. Okay, course, have the stickers that go with the Spring Cottage collection to use. Let me put my pictures aside for now. So what I've decided so far is that I was going to use the brown as my base. I think at this point I'm gonna go with the tree bark. This reminds me of like a white birch tree, so that's why I keep calling it a tree bark. With that over here on the left-hand side, and then over here on the right-hand side, I'm going to put this dark green. That's how I'm going to start, and let's see where we're going to go with this. So, hand side, I want to take the tree bark paper, and that's how I'm going to use the wavy cut. Because what I would like to do is keep the majority of the white bark paper here, but on this side, I'm going to have a border. So, let's go ahead and change the blade, put in the wavy, and let's see, I'm gonna have about a 2.5 inch border over here. I think I'm gonna cut it 3 inches. Okay. And there we go. So it just gave it a nice wavy look to it. That's how I'm going to incorporate the waviness at this point. Okay, it's going to go something like that. I'm going to go ahead and change my straight blade right now so that I don't forget. Put that back in there and put this aside. So let me show you how I'm going to lay out the photos. Okay, so on this page, the 2 photos that I have are going to go horizontally. That's the people, and one of them is more of a close-up selfie kind of photo, and then the other one is us further back by a pond. And then I'm going to trim this down somehow, and it'll go here, and then next to that will be the entrance into the Huntington, which will go like that. So I'm going to have the 4 photos here and kind of all touching and mingling together. So this is going to be a very photo heavy layout. Then on this side, I would like to leave room over here for about a 1 inch border. So I'm going to do something like this. Let's see, I'm going to line up my vertical photos at the bottom, and I'll have 3 of them. It'll go something like that. So I still have my room for my 1 inch border. And then at the top, I'm going to have something like that. So this will be trimmed down as well, so to incorporate for the 1 inch border. And then I still have this room in between here as well. So let's see, let's focus on the first page, and I'll move this one aside temporarily. Okay, so let's trim down our photos a little bit, the ones that we can. I really just want the name showing, you know, that way whenever I have the name of where I'm at, then I feel like I don't have to make the title the same name because it's already going to be represented in the photos. So let's work on the border over here. And that's where I'm going to incorporate the lily pad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to punch out using the big square, and I'm going to punch from the lily pads the biggest square, which is 1.5 inches. And I'm going to punch out about 6 of those.
Okay, so what I think I'm going to do is actually use the blue side for this border, and then, which is the back side of the lily pad, and then I'm going to use the next size down to cut out some of the lily pads. I like this blue color, it's going to bring in the blue sky that we were fortunate to have that day.
Okay, so there's the 6 that we're going to use for that. And now I'm going to actually turn these like this, but I need to get another piece of paper. So I'm going to bring in this paper. It's the same one I'm going to use on the other side, and I'm going to use this as the background for the border. So I'm going to cut a 2.5 inch strip. And then I'm going to place it like this down the border. Okay, let's get this one. Let's put it actually on the page so you can see. I'll leave a little bit of brown there. And actually, I might want to slice this one down just a tad. Okay, so it's going to look something like this. The very bottom will be the other half of that. So I needed 6 squares using the big 1.5 inch for the back, and then the 1.25 inch for the small one on top, and then a 2.5 inch piece for the border strip. Okay, so let me go ahead and get this here down and check out. I'm going to trim this just a tad more and cut the photos here and see about placement, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I went ahead and I've adhered all this down. I just cut the 1 square and turned it on its side at each end, so it's just running all the way down. And I put the 2 photos. These 2 I decided not to trim at all, and I also am not going to mat these. I'm going to leave them just on the white bark paper as that they are. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next page really quick, because I think that's all I'm going to do right now. So I've incorporated the square punch, and I've also incorporated the wave on this side. Now I might be bringing those back in again, but for now that's all. I still do need to bring in that honeycomb, and I think I'm going to do that on the opposite page. Okay, so let's bring this one back in, and I'll remove this for a moment. Okay, so I do want to see some of the brown behind, so I'm going to have to make a decision here of how much I need to cut it. And I want to show you how I determined this. So I had a couple pieces of samples scrap paper, so I want to do something like this over here. That's a 1 inch strip, and then I'll take the honeycomb and I'll punch it out. But these are just samples. I'm going to probably change the color a little bit, and then have this going in between, something like that. So I need to trim down the photos a little bit, and it'll look something like that. Okay, so let me trim these down a little bit. This one was really off center. That was actually behind some glass, so I can't believe how well that came out. Let me bring my personal trimmer back in, but I really just need a small portion. Now, I don't really want to trim the height yet, so I just want to trim off the side a little bit. I'm going to do like a 1/2 inch, so I made that 3.5 inches. Let me go with 3.5 inches and see if on all of them. This one is my favorite photo, so I don't know if I really want to. Let me hold off on that one. And I'll do 3.5 inches on this one. Actually, I'll do 1/4 on each side. Okay. To make it long, it's going to go something like that. And then maybe I'll even lift that one up on foam, but I am going to trim it. Okay, so let's do same thing. 1/4 inch on each side. I just want a little bit of space between each one. So I'm going to keep trimming on this one until I get to what I like. Okay, there we go. There we go. And I really love this picture also. I guess what I could do is see how much room do I have here. About 10 inches, 10 and a half. Together they're 12. I don't want to take off that much on this one. Do like a 1/4 of an inch. Okay, so that's what I want on that one. The rest will come off of this one. This one, it's really pretty, but let me get it a little more centered. Okay, let's see what we got here. I still need a little bit more because I would like to have a space. There we go. I like that. I like to have the little space in between so that your eye can kind of fall. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the honeycomb over here. I just have to decide on what color I want to bring in. I think for this 1-inch strip here, I'm going to bring in the lily pad paper to go here, and then something on top. Maybe I'm going to try white. I don't know. I kind of am actually liking the black sample that I have here, but I'm also thinking I could put a strip of a border in the middle here as well. So let me get the paper. Okay, it's gonna look something like this. The honeycomb always reminds me of like lattice outside. So that's why I thought when I chose the honeycomb came up, I thought I need to do some outdoor pictures. And that's kind of how I started this whole thing. So I think I might actually go with white on here. I'm going to adhere everything down, the photos onto the paper and the lily pad paper down. And then I will go grab some white paper and we'll cut out a white honeycomb. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, so while I was away, what did I do? I adhered all the photos down on this page. I decided I liked the look of the green strip here, so I just trimmed it, which was funny because that was just a placeholder strip, but I liked it. It kind of is the right tone. So I trimmed it to be equal and fit within the somewhat of a grid I have over here. And then this strip over here, I did cut a new one. The first time I did a 1 inch, this time I did 1 1/4 inches. So I like that width a lot better. So I still need to use the honeycomb border making cartridge. So I was thinking white, but what I think now is I want to bring in some of this brown because I ended up not using brown as the back sheet here. So I'd like to bring in some brown. So let's try that. Let's cut brown and see if we like it. Okay. And let's do something like that. Yeah, I like that actually. I like that. Not as stark as the black. Next, we need to start working on the embellishments because this is going to be my layout of my page. Let's see where we're going to put some embellishments. So I have my circles, and I'm probably going to put my largest embellishment here. I have an idea for that. And then maybe a medium area here, which will include my title. And then I think I'm gonna go here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go right there in the middle of the strip that we put there. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here is while I was away, I also made a title. This was an annual retreat that I did with my company last year. And so I think I'm gonna do that there. What I do want to do, however, is it kind of fades in the background there. So I kind of want to make it look like a signpost that you would see on a hike or something, since we are in a garden. And here I used the Creative Memories corner rounder. And so I'd like to do the same thing. And I'm thinking of putting it on brown, again, to bring in the brown. Okay, so I think I measured it and it needs to be about a little over 1 1/2 inches. Just gonna go to the end of my trimmer over here. Let's see if we like that. Okay. And there we go. Yeah, it's going to be just enough of an outline around it. So let's go ahead and get this aligned. So that's going to be about 4 inches. Okay. We'll center this just like that. And I'll get my corner rounder and show you how I did that. Okay. Nice. Okay, we'll do the other 3 corners. I line it up right in the middle. I put the tip, let me move this up here, you can see the tip of the paper right in the center of that screw that's there. And let me move it so I can see it. And then I'll just keep doing that. There we go. So that kind of reminds me of a hiking trail sign, or a sign that you would see out in nature directing you which way to go. So, yep, I like that. So that's going to be right there. So what I planned for over here was, I had seen this embellishment the other day and I really liked it. And so what it was 3 pieces of paper. It was paper torn and at a diagonal. So I'm going to give that a try, but I'm going to actually go back and use our wave cartridge again and see if we can kind of recreate what I was thinking for the top corner. Okay, so let me move this one aside for a minute, since we're going to be working on the cluster in this area. So what I want to do is I want to bring in 3 different papers. I want to bring in the green from here. I want to bring back in the lily pad, and then on the reverse side of the lily pad we had some blue. So I'd like to bring in some more of that blue as well. So that's our goal here. Okay, so I'm going to start with a scrap piece of paper, and this color matches the color that I have over here. Okay, so this one measures 2.5 by almost 4 inches, but you can use 4 inches. So if you like what I'm doing, you'll know what I started with. So I want to cut this paper at an angle using the wave blade. Okay, let's change that out. And so I'm just going to kind of judge what I want here, and I'm probably going to have to cut it several times. So I'm lining up the corner of this paper to my cutting groove line, and then I just cut it at an angle. So what I'm essentially going to do at the end here is have a banner up here, and I'm going to be trimming that down because it's a little too big for me right now. Okay, so let's move on to the lily pad. I'm going to cut a 2-inch wide, since that one was 2.5. Okay, again, I'm going to adjust the lengths, and I'm going to do the same exact thing. I'm going to line up this corner onto my cutting groove, and then I'm going to slice off part of it. So I'd kind of want not so steep, so I'm just twisting it a little bit. It's just I'm watching over here to see how much. You can get the same effect by paper tearing, but I my goal was to use the wave blade, so I'm using it. I just want to double check if I'm gonna go. Okay. Let's see. So it's gonna go something like that, and now the next piece will be blue, and it's gonna be a 1.5 inch strip. So let's line this up at 1.5 inches. And I don't need that little piece. Okay. And then come over here, same thing, line the corner up on the diagonal line. I just want a little sliver, so that's going to be very, very steep. So let's turn it. And by steep, I mean it's going to cut into my paper too much. So let's do that. Okay. And so there's our layers. Now we're going to do some trimming on those to get them to be just the right size. So that's going to be my embellishment, something like that. What I probably will do is pop up one of the layers. What else am I going to do? When I was away adhering everything, I also cut out some leaves from my Big Shot die cut machine. So I have some leaves here to play with. Bring back in our second page too and get us all lined up here. Okay, so we have that there. Okay. So I was kind of looking this over. There's a lot of great sayings on this that fit perfectly for this botanical garden, because anytime you're in nature, this sticker sheet has a lot about nature. So it has like nature's majesty. I like that. I liked sunny days because it was a pretty sunny day. Love grows here, fresh and fun. Nature never goes out of style. All the flowers of tomorrows are in the seeds of today. And that's like really, these are pretty motivational quotes, especially seeing how we were on a retreat for work. But what I'm going to do, I was looking for an icon over here. And so any of these would go too because they're nature, except for maybe the fishing. I kind of liked this bird. So I thought what I would do is put the bird sticker here, maybe up onto some foam tape here, and then it'll sit something like that. And then I would have some leaves coming out like that. Okay, so that's going to be my first cluster at the top. Down here, yeah, I might do the same thing. Put some leaves popping out. I probably might even put this up on some foam tape there as well. Over here, I liked the idea of this sticker right here. Nature never goes out of style. I thought that was beautiful. I'm going to put that up on some foam tape. So it's going to go something like that. And then I want to have some leaves coming out of the sides of that as well. So it's going to look something like that right there. Okay, down here, maybe the butterfly. I do like butterflies. So I might put that somewhere like this. And maybe I won't put my title up on foam tape. I like that. So what I need now, I think, is some fine tuning. I have my big embellishment. I have the small pieces tucked in. Now I need some finishing touches, which would be some enamel dots or some bling. So I grabbed some enamel dots from the Welcome Home collection. I'm putting them right here so you can see the colors, because I felt like these colors were perfect for this as well. So I'm going to put probably some enamel dots up there. So let's see, what color do we like? Here, let's start over here. I'm gonna go with brown. I'm really feeling like this brown is the color I wanna use. So up here, I'm just going to put them off to the side, and I think I will put two. I'm not putting them down very hard right now, so I could readjust them if I need to as I'm finishing up. And I think I'll do something like this. So I have three over there. And then, okay, over here, I'm going to bring in some more of the enamel dots. I think I'm going to put one right up there. And then over here, nothing's adhered down yet. So I like the idea of possibly having one or two around there. So yeah, okay, I kind of like that. It kind of brings my enamel dots all the way through. So look at my close-ups at the end and see where the final placement of everything. I'm going to just stick everything down, get it all nice and squared away, and then I will post the final layout at the end in the close-ups. Thank you for joining me today in this round of Creative Memories Tools Roulette. And I did it. I used my square punches, and I used wave blade in the trimmer, and the Honeycomb border making cartridge. So let this just be a reminder that it doesn't matter what tools you use. Just the idea is just to make your list fit whatever items you want to use, and randomly select and see if you can make a layout just using those tools, or using those tools in your layout. So I hope that that was inspiring in some way, and thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.